they contact me and they're like, hey, are you available on this date? And I was like, yeah, of course. And I go to him, literally word for word. I go, who am I opening up for? And he goes, nobody. You're a headliner.
Nothing like stars from a paradise. Don't care, cause there's magic in the air tonight. Pretty girl in my ear, she the rarest type. Heaven on earth is right here tonight. I'm in the dream state. I'm in the dream state.
I mean, it's unbelievable. The energy going on right now, you can't make it up. This is the first podcast of 2023. We're starting it out with a bang. I mean, this is going to be unbelievable.
Literally with a bang. Literally. Hold on, speaking of, hold on.
Literally.
I think I got to get it
I
open.
think you got to crack it off.
We got to get it open.
Dog. Off rip.
know?
Rip it. It's all day. Jason Keats, are you kidding right now?
Oh,
How you doing, brother?
I'm good,
all right?
man. I'm good. How you doing? How's the year been? I mean,
Dude,
it's been a few days.
It's been amazing. You know,
Yeah.
we just been gearing up to really get after it. On the podcast is like my main focus for this year.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to that. You were the first person I hit up because we had been talking
Dude,
about it. I remember you're like, yo, we're crushing a lift. Let's do the podcast. I'm not kidding. I mean, I said, dude, I'm not kidding either. I'm locked in.
It's crazy.
So,
It's crazy. I found you on Instagram or through friends, and we were pretty much strangers, I think. You know, like, would you consider us like best friends right now? Probably.
No.
Probably
just
not.
Friends. Just people we know each other.
But I saw your energy that you had, and I was like, I literally need to meet this guy.
The energy is such a it tells everything. And that's when I was just saying that to you before the podcast started, how when I first met you, which was at Headliner on the night of A-Craze.
Right. That was a big night.
Yeah, well, I went to support Cisneros, obviously my good friend who played at Reds a ton. And and I saw you, and I knew who you were through Cisneros, I guess, through, you know, the whole social media thing. And I went right up to him. I was like, yo, you're Jason, right? And I was like, I'm Red. And then you just greeted me with such good energy and welcoming. And it was just like I knew right then and there.
Sometimes you just know in that moment that, like, all right, you know, maybe there's something there. And I just knew that we had to sit down and have this moment, you know, to talk about what we have going on. And, you know, I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped to do it.
I'm hyped. I couldn't be more hyped that this is actually like the first episode of 2023 because I really wanted to start it out on a good note. And obviously, I mean, this is going to air far in the future. There'll be a lot of clips that go on before it actually comes out, the full episode. But, you know, Reds just closed. And so for me, I'm just looking forward to, I mean, I'll be at the other two Reds, of course, working, Newark and the Metal
Dude,
Bands.
I'm pissed I never got to go to the one in Rutgers.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, because I know Cisneros was there. I know you guys were like the Rutgers spot. Like everyone that went out, you know, because I talked to a lot of people in the scene, obviously, and they were like, yo, Reds is the spot. Like, you should DJ there. And then.
Oh, man. Well, when Cisneros was DJing that fall, which is where our kind of connection came through, because that's when I started seeing you on his social media and everything like that.
Right.
It was unmatched. I mean, in not just New Brunswick, but in New Jersey, it was one of the best places to go out and have a good time.
Right.
And of course, Cisneros was driving it with his music. Brant was driving it with his music. And your vibe, I mean, your style, it would have been unbelievable.
Right.
So, I mean, for me, that was one of the most fun times.
What was it like? Was it like a Jersey Shore, like DJs kind of thing? Like, or was it like an underground kind of vibe, or like was it a little bit of like everything?
That fall, I would tell you. So leading up to that fall was the whole pandemic year, and so a lot of people.
That was a tough year for us in the industry.
Tough year for anybody in the industry. Of course, what you went through and all that. But you know what I was able to use to my advantage that year was getting to know a lot of people that didn't know me at Rutgers.
Right.
Because we had opened.
Because you didn't go to Rutgers.
No, I didn't go to Rutgers, and we opened August of 2019.
Okay.
We shut down 6 months later.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So most of the people didn't really know me on a personal level.
Right.
When the kids got to know who I was and felt my energy, what you were alluding to before when we were talking.
Your energy is like out of this world. I mean, you got the bangs, you got the Folgers for the soldiers. I mean, what are the other taglines that you have? Like, the people need to hear them, I think. The people need to hear them. Let's run through them right now.
Dude, I have so many that I've had through the years and Instagram's always where I let it fly.
It's crazy.
You know? TikTok, it's taken over too, you know.
I wonder how many people are saying like your little like red-isms to this day.
People,
the
red-isms. The red-isms.
The red-isms.
Let's go.
You know what I mean?
Dude, no, people, they really, like, they'll come up to me, especially at Reds, and they'll just say the line. What's
the number one line?
No, juice to the gills right now.
Juice to the gills.
Juice to the gills is just
that's number one.
Yeah, and then of course the TikTok I was telling you that went viral. That was like the key tagline at the end of it.
You went after Goggins,
dude, and everybody thought I was going after Goggins. I was just saying, listen, you're carrying boats, we're carrying yachts. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
But, so the Redisms, they've taken me places, they fit my energy very well.
Right.
But you're right. A lot of people do tag them and stuff. But we opened up that year, and then I got to know all the kids, and they got to know me very well because the limited capacity. And again, a lot of people know the story of me pushing the limits and letting more people.
That was such a weird time. I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Like wearing the mask and like security guards telling you like, oh, you can't stand here, or you can't stand here, or you have to be seated. Like it was just a bad time to be, a bar owner, manager for you. And even as a DJ for me, I just remember like DJing all these little pop-up parties, like places that were trying to stay in business. And it was literally the weirdest time to work, but we had to work. We had to keep it moving. We had to, and I know you were one of the people to kind of keep it moving. And me as a DJ, I was one of the people kind of doing whatever I could to show people a good time,
Yeah, that was the thing was, man, and I've talked about it on the podcast before this too, is like, when I got to actually know the kids that were coming in that year and really got to become friends with them,
right?
It was, and I can speak to it now because I've seen what it was after that whole thing, but that group of kids specifically was amazing. And so for me to just shut down, and first of all, I didn't agree what was going on. I think a lot of people already know that. So like for me, I was already, trying to fight as hard as I could against what was going on, but to not open my doors and welcome people in a time where people were just looking for somewhere to be together,
would
have been totally against who I am.
It's like not who we are as people, like don't be welcoming, don't be happy. You know what I mean? It was
push people away.
It was terrible. And I'm so glad that it's over, man,
tough.
because, piggybacking off what you were saying, my big break in DJing and just kind of in life happened literally a month before COVID happened.
Really?
Really. Not, I mean, I tell this story to friends and stuff like that. Now I have the platform, in this podcast to talk about it.
Yeah, let it fly. I'd love to hear this.
But, I've been a DJ for a long time. I turn 30 next week.
Okay.
I've been DJing, pretty much since I'm like 16, 17 years old. When it started really popping off for me, when I was like 21, obviously I was allowed to DJ at the bars and the clubs, but I got my first big break at HQ nightclub in Atlantic City. A lot of people know about it. And, the guy that books everyone, Real Talent Management is the name of the company. And they contact me and they're like, hey, are you available on this date? And I was like, yeah, of course. And I go to him literally word for word. I go, who am I opening up for? And he goes, nobody, you're headlining. And for me, that was such a big deal because this is like a very serious nightclub, where a lot of people go to in New Jersey. And I just remember like almost crying because like I had been waiting for that moment for so long. So many people in the past, either didn't believe in me, didn't give me the right opportunities. And that opportunity came. I ran with it, me and all my boys. I brought my boy Mike Cadge. You know Mike Cadge?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, great DJ, great kid, popular guy.
I know him through your social media. Is how
right,
I know him.
Right.
Yes.
Anyone that knows me knows Mike Cadge.
Yes.
He's like my right-hand guy. He's like mini me. You know what I mean? From literally how he DJs to how he dresses. It's like, it's crazy, It's all part of the squad. But so he opened up for me that night, and it felt like all of Monmouth County, New Jersey, and even New Jersey was just in the building. And that was kind of like my moment. And, the people that own HQ, the promoters, everyone were like, wow, this kid's the real deal. Because before that, I was always an opener. I was always playing at smaller places, because a lot of people in New Jersey, in New York and these places, they never want to give a guy the next shot, where me as a person, once I get that shot, it's about opening up doors for other people.
For everybody else.
So once I got this shot, then I was like, all right, what's next? So that's when I started, Stop Playing, which is kind of like my group, where we promote, we throw events, we do content, media, all that stuff. And it's crazy how much it's grown in the past. COVID was almost, 3 years ago?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
It's crazy. But, looking back, that was 1 month before COVID happened. Who knows what would have happened if COVID didn't happen? Would I be doing bigger and better things? I've done like pretty big things already, but I always think about that, because the world was shut down for a year, 2 years. So what would have happened from then? You know?
It is crazy to think about what could have happened. And then also, like, I think about it from my perspective, like, the reason we closed is because of that. Like, because of what we
you guys
weren't
were
able
from
to...
behind.
Yeah.
You guys couldn't catch up.
We started August
yeah.
2019. It hits March 2020. You know, luckily, our landlord was able to, you know, they gave us a break, and they were like, all right, while you close, like, we're not going to make you pay.
Right.
Now, we were very thankful for that. And because of that, we were able to even get a shot at making it all back. And then, you know, the business ends up, you know, turning into what it was. It's profitable. It's a good business. But to make back everything we owed from what we signed for, it just wasn't doable. So, we made them an offer, and they accepted it, and it saved us a lot. And, you know, unfortunately for me, it was so much fun at that location for me because I really got to be in the culture with everybody, which was great. You know, very stressful running a bar, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
they say that that's like the most stressful job you can have is running a bar or a restaurant, you know?
Yeah, when you throw the pandemic on top of that, I promise you, in my life, I don't know if I'll ever go through.
It just felt like it was never going to end.
Oh, every day.
That was really the hardest part for me was there was no light at the end of the tunnel for the longest time.
Yeah.
You know, it was like there were so many rules involved. Like you can go to a bar, but you have to be seated. You know, this and that. It was crazy. And I feel for a lot of business owners, you know, like you that had to go through it because, you know, no one saw this coming.
No one. Yeah. I mean, and of course, if you saw that, no one who would have seen that coming would have, like, we would never signed a lease to go into a building there and open up.
A few
months before, we've been like, all right, you're going to be shut down for 6 months, and then you're not going to be able to open to full capacity for another year and a half.
It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
And you're one of, what, like thousands, millions of people?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not just us. You know, we have the other two Reds. So we're going to focus on getting those back to where they need to be because they're almost there, not there quite, which is kind of crazy that we're talking 3 years later. And then, you know, we open up a few new spots and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm looking forward. Again, now I have an opportunity to really sit down and do this. One of the things I wanted to do was this podcast, and it was great. It had such good feedback from the beginning. And I was able to connect with a lot of new people, connect with people I've known for a long time. And now it's giving me the opportunity to come to places like this, sit down, sit with people like
everyone's got a story. Some people have a story that's more triumphant and more interesting than others. But the thing is that everyone has a story. And what I admire about what you're doing is that you're giving people the platform to tell their story, which is cool. And you know what? I'm not famous. I'm not, you know, a touring DJ, like big time, you know what I mean? But yet, but you know, you're giving me the chance to kind of tell my story, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
you know?
It's and it was like, even when you texted me like certain things that you want to talk, and then it was like, that's exactly what I want to hear. Like for me, I've said it on the podcast too before, is like I form very close relationships with most of the people I become friends with. Like it's weird. I've gone through life and I've seen how people interact with different people and the friends they make and stuff. But throughout my life, I've really been able to stay in contact with a lot of the friends I've made. And so, you know, as you go through life, you don't get to really see them physically as you can. I mean, think about running a bar through the pandemic. It was like I had no time to talk to anybody. My friends were texting me. People were calling me. I didn't call them for 6 months.
Yo,
like,
can I get in?
Yeah.
No, we're only allowed 25 people, bro.
That. The phone all day, all night, nonstop. Just what time should we come? How many people can we bring? Are we good to come right now, Red? What's going on? It was just unbelievable.
Do we have to wear masks?
You know, it was just, but then like, you know,
over,
after it, you know, you get to go and you finally get to catch up with some of the people you haven't seen in a while. And then what was cool about that year as well is that, especially for the podcast, just talking from that perspective, is how many new connections and friendships I made are now, like, you talk, I've already dropped an episode, my good friend Sam Johnson, who through that whole process became one of my best friends. And like you watch that episode and you can just feel it. And like you said, it's like everyone's got a story, and I'm not even concerned about getting famous people on here, to be honest.
I feel like life changed for people more in the time of the pandemic to now than from like their entire life.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I feel like for me specifically, like I cut a lot of people off. I don't know about you, but like since the pandemic, and I have no shame in saying that.
Yeah, no,
I
absolutely.
cut a lot of fucking people off in my life. And maybe it's because I'm getting older. You know, I'm turning 30. I feel like, you know, like the gray hairs are coming in, whatever. but you know what I mean? But like,
chance,
you know, I cut a lot of people off, and I really realized who are my people. And right now it's still growing. You know, it's still growing, and I'm realizing who's really there for me. You know, because when we're in our 20s, it's who wants to party. Who wants to get fucked up tonight? Who wants to go to the bar? Who wants to go to the club? You know, or it's a big, what can you do for me kind of thing. Transactional relationships. And this is kind of what I realized, you know, even in the DJ game, you know, like how many people can you bring? You know, how many bottles can you sell? And this is, you know, obviously it holds value, right? Like you're not going to get booked if you're a great DJ, but you can't bring one person to the club.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know this from probably booking people
Yep.
at Reds, you know, but you know, that's not what it's all about.
Yeah.
And when you make it all about that, then it's no good. It's your relationship is transactional.
No,
you know what I mean?
That's dude, that is such a good point. And you're right. The pandemic like kind of
Fizzled
that all out to the
some
forefront.
people out.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I think in our industry too, like hospitality and nightlife and things like that, you do meet a lot of people where you can tell that it is strictly transactional. Like from
Strictly
the beginning.
transactional.
Like they don't have that genuine energy when you meet them from the
Right.
jump. And it's tough because again, even if you talk about from like a perspective of a bar owner, these people are coming into your business and they're looking to have a good time, and you do have to treat them with a bit of respect.
Yeah, it's hospitality, right?
It's hospitality, and I'm always willing to treat people with respect, but sometimes you realize, and it's tough because you have to walk the line of, that this person's really not, your friend. They're just there because...
Yeah, you're shaking hands with them and you're making eye contact, and you both know that, like, all right, we're not really that close.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
Going back, like, I have been fortunate that
a
lot have turned out to be, people that I can stay in touch with and become genuine friends.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that because, again, doing like a podcast like this, you got to think about where you start on a podcast too, is like how many people you know. Like, I know all these people, and I feel like they're genuine friends of mine and people that I just, our energy connects like us.
Dude,
and we get to go and
I feel like our energy is like...
It's automatic.
You know what I mean? It's automatic. I mean, spoke to, my friend Luke sitting over here.
Luke and Frank, how we doing?
Luke and Frank, they're off camera, but they're here, you know? Shout out to young Frank. That's what I like to call him. He does all my content, by the way. So if you've ever seen me on Instagram, TikTok, or anything like that, he kind of took my life in a way to the next level. So shout out Frank.
Let's go.
So yeah, I mean, when I first met you, and then I saw, kind of all your Reddisms and your Instagram, and me and Luke kind of bounce energy off all the time. We'll call each other every day. We'll kind of just fire each other up a little bit. I need that, whether I'm working out or if I just need that extra oomph for the day.
Yep.
And like, I showed him your page and he was like, dude, I can't fucking wait to meet this guy. Like, Folgers for the soldiers.
It's all day.
You know what I mean?
It's all day.
Juice to the gills.
Dude.
I think I sent him, honestly, tell me if I'm wrong. I think I sent him the video of, like you were like walking like McGregor or something like that.
Oh yeah,
I think it was one of those
in the octagon.
In the octagon,
video in the octagon.
Like, do you actually like fight or
no? You know what's so funny is
because I feel like I can see it. People
come in and they're like, dude, I love martial arts. I love boxing. I love this. Like, dude,
Yeah.
how long you been doing it? I'm like, that was just a funny video I made.
Yeah.
I don't actually fight. I mean, I love UFC.
You,
though. I love
you fucking
like, MMA.
convinced me that you were like a full-time UFC fighter.
Oh,
and you did it on the side. Like, I don't know. I was like buying the whole thing that you had going on.
I've always, when I've been wanting to film a video like that for a while since I got into MMA. And then when I was in Hawaii, we were working out at the UFC gym and the octagon was there. And I was like, there's no way we're not shooting this.
Yeah.
And my buddy Will.
That was in Hawaii?
That was in Hawaii.
Wow.
So my buddy Will, who came out there, is a videographer as well, who I talk about often on the podcast. And he's actually the kid that I call every day.
Right.
We're just bouncing energy off.
Yeah,
and
everyone's
stuff.
got that one
They
person.
got that one
They're
person,
like,
man.
Yeah,
And
we talk about dumb shit. It doesn't even make sense. None of it makes sense.
Doesn't have to make sense.
You know what I mean?
It's
but,
so true.
But it makes sense.
It does.
You know what I mean?
To you and that person, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's all you need.
Yeah.
And so we shot it, and then I came back, I put it out, got so many views, and that was in the heart of like the pandemic when Rutgers, like everybody was coming to Reds.
Right.
And it was just like, I came back and everybody was talking about the video. It was hilarious. So.
Right.
But I love just putting that energy out. I mean, that's really how I feel. I mean, and I don't try to like force it out there either.
No,
you know, like
that's
you
who
can tell
you
when
are.
somebody's forcing.
That's who you are, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
And people ride with that energy, which is good because I feel like there's a lot of people out there just going through life and that, if somebody's out there that's putting out that energy, I mean, if I got it, I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, and I need some of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
I need some of it.
It runs. And all the people that like I know, they fuel me. Like if people run off that energy, it just gives me more fuel.
It takes a lot of fuel to run Red. I mean, we're talking bang, we're talking coffee.
Yep.
We're talking other people's energy.
Dude, so what
I
I've
mean?
been doing now is after, usually it's only once
How do
a
you
week.
wind down? How do you go to sleep? Like,
Nah, I don't.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
people
but-
need to know this.
Dude,
This is important information.
When I wake up, if I've done cheat day the day before, which at this point right now, cheat day is 5 Big Macs, 2 large Cokes, and a whole box of Funfetti cupcakes.
What the-
Entenmann's. Entenmann's Funfetti cupcakes. Whole thing. That's one meal. Easy too. It's getting easy.
5 Big Macs in one
5 Big Macs
in one seating.
Plus the whole. I just did it yesterday. Or what's today? Today is Wednesday, right? So I did it Monday.
Jesus.
Yeah. I'm starting to impress myself. But so the next day I wake up, Folgers for the soldiers. There's about 250 milligrams caffeine plus a bang, which is 300. And that's where we're starting the day. And then we're ripping chest and absolutely putting up numbers.
Oh, man. We got to get a workout in.
Yo, we're going to lift too, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're checking it off. We said lift, we said the podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
We got the podcast locked in. And
that's it, because I've recently got into working out, like, big time. I go over to a gym called Iron Revolution.
Yes.
Which is such a dope gym for anyone listening. If you're really into fitness, if you're looking to get into it, I definitely recommend to go check it out. A lot of influencers go there, a lot of people that are in the fitness industry. Their equipment is next level. They have club sound in there, and they should be paying me, honestly, for this right now. I'm going to have to talk to them after this, but that's something, I'm a big DJ guy. Yeah. So they have club speakers in there, and I think I've worn my headphones in there like once or twice. And I've been there for like 5-6 months already.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? Like that, they're playing like Meek Mill. The day that the Drake album came out, they were bumping the Drake album. Yeah. Like it was crazy. Music
is huge. When I'm in the zone for anything, but when you're at the gym and that's another thing Goggins said once. He talked about, I've been, it's funny that
Goggins, we're on to you, Goggins.
Listen, talking about.
We're on to you, Goggins.
Listen, this guy's talking about, I don't need music to work out. Yeah, I don't either. I'll go for 24 hours straight. You want to go? Let's go. I'll be there all day. I'll go until I'm dead. I will not lose. I will die before I lose. But the music just amplifies the energy. Like, right. I love vibing.
Who's your go-tos?
There's a couple songs I have right now. Right now, there's one song that's been really firing me up lately. It's on SoundCloud. I don't know if it's an actual mix that's on like Spotify or anything, but it's a Kygo song. It's Carry Me, but I don't know how you say his name, Vinny remix.
Oh, Vinai.
So that remix, I have been firing in the gym, and I have been going in.
That's like
when
big
that
room,
drops,
big room.
I'll just listen to it for 2 hours straight while I'm at the gym. I'll just and that one's been going. I've been listening to Without Me, Liu remix, which is
the Asian guy.
And I'm doing a video to that song actually soon, which is going to be absolutely electric. But that's what I've been finding. That kind of vibe is my kind of vibe. Like we're your quickie mix on the way here, dude. It was unbelievable. Right. It was unbelievable. I mean, we pulled up firing it.
I haven't put something out in a little bit just because I've been busy doing a lot of different things, but I got some good reactions from that. I made that mix kind of short, like 20, 30 minutes long because, we're in the TikTok era right now. No one has time for anything. And I just got right into it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I got some good feedback from it. But, it's funny that you brought up, those people, Vinai and stuff like that, because like my taste of music has like literally changed so much over the years. Like, when I play at like HQ or when I open up for a lot of these artists, like I'm not playing that style of music anymore. I have an appreciation for it. I'll listen to it in the gym, but I'm playing more like an underground kind of thing. Cause that was kind of like my first love. It was like that real underground house. Like I grew up in like, kind of, I got the last whiff of like the, Pasha, New York City. And like a lot of these clubs that were like just throwing down every weekend. New York City used to be way different. For anyone that's going out to New York City now and going to like Brooklyn Mirage and like all these places, like it's great, but it used to have like a real underground feel. And like it was even before my time, before our time. But I kind of caught the last little bit of it. I was going to these places at 17, 18 years old. Yeah. And that's where I learned like a lot of like music, you know what I mean? Like,
is that what it was? The underground house was really what was going on there?
It was really like soulful house, like a lot of the samples from like the 70s and stuff like that, and like even like I know a lot of people won't like it, but like real techno, you know what I mean? Like a lot of stuff that won't have words in it, but it takes you on a progression. Like, not everyone understands house music, and that's actually like a little like clip that's in a lot of house music songs, like that little, not everyone understands house music, because it's true, but everyone feels it, and it's my passion and all that, but yeah, it's crazy, because I'll listen to something completely different in the gym. Like I'll be listening to like Rufus the Soul or like something like more mellow,
amazing,
and then be playing something totally different at the club.
Yeah, it's crazy how even for me, just like the styles of music that I've gone to over the years. Used to be just one, and then it kind of progressed, and now I just listen to a whole variety. I think when you're younger, you kind of have this, you almost have this like I know everything kind of mentality, and I did have that, and I would be like, no, that person's no good, like they're not good, like. But then you start listening to more and more, and the more variety you have, and the more diversity in that, it's like you can appreciate the music, especially when you hear, like for me, getting to know a bunch of different DJs over the last few years, like hearing all their different styles, it's just amazing. I think the power of music is something that a lot of people don't really fully understand.
And that's something that like honestly like gets me high. Like while I DJ, like, you know, there's been moments before where like I have like legitimately like felt a high because like here I am, you know, just one person and there's 1,000 people, 1,500 people in front of me, and like everyone's feeling what I'm feeling, and you can literally look out and see it, and it's like magic. It's I can't even. I'm getting the chills right now.
Like,
I don't know if it's the bang or if it's like what I'm saying, but it might be a combination of both. But it really is magic, and you know,
especially HQ. I mean, come on, that's unbelievable.
It's one of my favorite places to play at. You know, just this year I just played with Gordo, formerly Carnage. You know, he's working with Drake on his album, and it was such a pleasure to open up for someone that worked with maybe the biggest artist in the world. And, you know, there's other artists that I played with there. I played with Mala. He's a guy that wears the black ski mask. I played with John Summit there, who's like the guy right now.
The guy.
We can get into more stories about John Summit. Him and I, we've played together many times.
Damn, he's unbelievable.
He really is unbelievable. And it's funny because I got to play with him at HQ Beach Club in 2021. Like the world had like just reopened, right? And he had that Deep End song that came out like, which like blew him up. And he was kind of like, you know, he was getting there, but he wasn't what he is now, you know? And, you know, it was one of the best days of my life, honestly. And then I got to hang out with him afterwards. And listen, I thought that I partied. Bro. Like this guy takes it to the next level. Like takes it absolutely to the next level, and it's just one of those things that you'll never forget. Like it was all night, no sleep. It was crazy. Everything you see on Instagram about these guys it's true, especially about him. But it was crazy opportunity.
Who were some other guys that you like looked up to? I guess like because again, actually, like when you're talking about John Summit and stuff like that, like. I guess before you even had your big break, he wasn't even that big yet, you know?
No.
So who were some of the guys that you looked up
to? Before I get into that, one more thing about John Summit is that night that, you know, we're having an after party in my hotel room, right? We're drinking, we're chatting it up, and, you know, I remember that, you know, him and I were talking about how he came up, and he's from Chicago. And, you know, I told him I have a wedding business and, you know, I played at all the local bars and this and that. And he's like, bro, like, I used to do that too. Like, and then I asked him, like, how old are you? And I think he was 27 at the time. And I was 28 or something like that. So, like, we connected on that level. You know what I mean? Like, we got into it. We shot the shit. We partied. You know, it was cooler than just opening up for someone and then just never talking to them ever again. Like, I have the guy's number in my phone. Like, you know, I don't text him or anything like that. I'm not going to be fangirling, but it was cool to have that moment with someone in the scene that's doing it. And now he's one of the biggest DJs in the world.
Yeah, he's huge.
He's like more than you know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy, but you know, I'm happy for him. You know, he's actually a cool ass dude, and he's kind of paving the way for a lot of new artists that are doing their thing, you know. So
he just did Mirage not so long ago.
He did Mirage, and he's got a label called Off the Grid that he started. That's like kind of like if you're gonna ask like what a DJ's like next step is or the final step, it's creating a brand or a label where you can release music on. So Off the Grid is his, you know, label, his party, and that was kind of his first moment where he was like, here world, like here I am, here's Off the Grid, here's the artists that are releasing tracks on my album, and he got to curate the event exactly how he wanted to, you know. So I thought it was really, really cool. You know, me and Luke shot down not too long after to Miami to go see him at Space, which was unbelievable. Yeah, have you ever been to Space?
I have not been to Club Space yet. I need to get down.
It's not for everyone. I will say that. It's not like Live or Story in Miami. I mean, Miami's just a different ballgame.
Oh, Miami's
and I know that in your other podcast, like you spoke about Miami, like you and the squad were down in Miami doing all your things, but Space is just like it's just you feel like you're in a jungle, right? And while other people are going to clubs at 11 p.m., you go to Space at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. That's like when you go there.
Someone just told me this the other day.
Yeah. That's when you like literally walk in there to go. And if you go in at like midnight, when they open, it's like you're a weirdo. You know what I mean? You're not a weirdo because you're still doing your thing. Yeah. But you go there 4 a.m. because they have a roof that opens up to the sky, and the sunlight comes in.
No.
And it's like there's no rules there. There's no rules. It's just everyone's free, and it's just I definitely recommend that you go to Space.
Miami is an unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't know if Club Space was like when we went down there. I don't even know if it was open yet. When did Club Space open?
Oh, they've been open for like almost 20 years.
Oh, they are. So they have been. So I just never heard of it.
But during the pandemic, I know that they were shut down for a little bit.
That's what it was, because that's when I went. So like when we went there, that wasn't even like an option. And it's such, post-pandemic, I find out about it. I'm like, what is it, Like I hadn't even heard about it.
I mean, a lot of people that go there are like into like the scene and stuff like that. Yeah. But I recommend it just to try it out.
I need to get there.
It's dope. And our squad goes down to Miami all the time.
Yeah.
We stay in Brickell a lot. It used to be South Beach.
Yeah.
And then I feel like times kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Winter Music Conference or Miami Music Week, whatever you want to call it, where they have all the parties. We hit that. But Miami's just, like you said, it's, and it's not that hard to just get on a plane and be on a plane for 2 hours and be in Miami.
No, it's easy.
It's very easy to just go to Miami.
We went down there. When I went was during like the March of 2021, so like a year after everything had shut down, but like things were still not open.
Right.
Miami was pretty open.
Dude.
And we went down there for the spring break week, and it was unbelievable.
So did we,
I mean,
man.
it was just, it's 95, sunny. I mean, how could you not love
Dude, there's
Miami?
beautiful women everywhere. You know what I mean? It's just like there's nothing that can go wrong really in Miami. It's like it's the best thing ever, But we went during the pandemic, and we were going to like underground raves. Like we went to one that Gordo and John Summit played. Jeez. And it was like it happened in Wynwood, Miami, where that's where like all the art stuff is.
Yes.
And
great area.
And this was a completely illegal rave going on. Completely illegal.
Was it in a warehouse?
It was in a warehouse.
Yes.
It was called M3 Studios.
They had to text you on your phone.
They had to text you on your phone, and you walked down like a path for like a mile or something like that. You got there, and then it looked like a legitimate music festival. Like I swear
it's unbelievable. The sound system firing, and everyone's going nuts, and it's in this
we
building.
We were like, how the fuck is this going on right now? But it went on, and we were enjoying it.
The energy was unbelievable.
And we're going down for Super Bowl weekend.
Oh,
which
nice.
Super Bowl is actually happening in Arizona. Mm-hmm. But him and I were like, fuck it. Where are we going to go?
Miami's going to be going off, though, of course.
Yeah, we'll go to, a few bars, dinner, stuff like that. It's just like, me and all my friends were approaching like our 30s, and we've already done everything here in Jersey, New York. Like, what am I going to do? Go to the same places? Like,
dude, I'll tell you what, like over the last, I've been a DJ's guy forever. It's funny you mentioned how, what was the Reds, vibe? Was it like DJs? It was very similar to that. But of course,
smacking walls.
Yeah, just everybody going nuts. It's trenches. There's no tables. There's no nothing. You're in the trenches. And this is why Cisneros and all those DJs really did love to play there, because when you're playing Reds, you were in it. Like, you were in it with everyone. Now we got to have security watching and flashing people that are getting too close to the speakers, of course. But, like, they're in it, and you are in the crowd. Like, kind of when you walk out.
It's like slimy.
Yeah, I mean, when you walk out to HQ and you see all the people and, like, you can vibe with them. Like, Reds, you were in it. It wasn't, like, a massive crowd, like, that you were watching. But you were right there in it with them, so you could feel it just like you feel it at HQ. And so, like, I mean, just that whole era. But I mean, after that, we would all go out to like DJs and Bar A the next summer. And of course, that summer was unbelievable. I mean,
oh my God.
That was when I met you, was that summer. Was at Headliner.
What you just said, by the way, going to DJs, Bar A, we call that in our little squad, we call that running the gauntlet.
Yep.
When you run the gauntlet, or when you run the G, as we like to call it, that's when you go to DJs, headliners, Bar A, and any of those places right there. It's called running the G.
It's a triangle, and DJs has always been my spot.
Yeah.
My mom actually asked me the other day, she goes, "Did DJs pay you to advertise on the podcast? Because you really talk about them a lot." I said, "No, I've been going there for years. I mean, those are my guys. Everybody over there is a friend of mine. So, they've always treated me well. And a couple close friends I grew up with ended up getting jobs there. And I do have to shout out real quick my man, the GOAT, Jack Slingle. Jack Slingle, the GOAT. His real name's Jack Pringle, but everybody knows him as Pringle. He bartends at DJ's. Been there for years. I went to high school with him. He started working at Reds, and if it wasn't for him, we would have been lost that whole pandemic year. And he just what he was doing the pandemic year, because you couldn't order at the bar, you had to order at a table. The tickets were coming out like an expo line in a kitchen when every single table was full and every server's putting an order in at once.
Right.
The tickets were down, and he was just picking them up. And I've never seen anybody go that fast, but he really saved us. And
you know that what they teach you over there at DJs, because I've had friends that have trained and just people that have worked there. They literally train you like the DJ's way.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, you have to do it their way. Because I mean, listen, that place does very well,
Numbers.
very well. But when you go to the cash register, for instance, like you have to be at an arm's length at all times from the cash register when you're making a drink.
Oh yeah.
You know, and they have the old school register. I love that place. It's just like, you know what? As I get older.
Yeah, well,
time change. I like space. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But,
well, the thing you're saying is when you know how as we've gotten older and we've done it all, like
things are changing, bro.
To go back in time, like because of the way that it worked out with Reds and the Rutgers thing, like I got to kind of relive that for 2 good years where it was like doing it like fresh because so all the kids that I became super close with at Reds during that whole year became 21 during the pandemic, couldn't go out that summer. So they were all turning 22, but hadn't experienced their 21st summer down the shore.
Right.
And so
it just went like...
Plus all the people that
crazy.
turned 21. So you had the people from the year before, plus all the people who turned 21 that summer. So it was double, and it was unbelievable. I mean, we were just running the show every single night. Yeah, and it was just...
running up tabs, buying people shots. Like, I mean... Here's something that, like, people don't understand about New Jersey, and like, DJs, for instance, is like, I feel like we just do it differently, man. In New Jersey,
nowhere close.
There's nowhere close. Like when you go to the bars here, like I've been all over the world. Like I've been to bars, clubs, like everything you could think of. But there is nothing that compares to the crowds that get down in New Jersey. I just feel like it's crazy.
The energy is like, unless you've been here and it's crazy how people talk about it and they're like, oh no, we wouldn't do the Jersey Shore, like because the show gave the rep or whatever. I'm like, good, don't come here. We're good. We know what's going on, and it's unbelievable. If you don't want to experience it, I don't know what to tell you, because when you do come and you do have an amazing time, you know, you're gonna want to run it
It's just different.
It is.
It's just different, man.
And it's been going on for so long that it was so funny that the Jersey Shore kind of exposed that lifestyle. Again, they were down at Seaside, which is, if you're talking about our area, like
Seaside,
Belmar,
Seaside was the place like 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But now, like, no, I'm not saying no one would go there, but like, listen, people choose Belmar, they choose Manasquan, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
and that, like, that block of, like, even from like Point Pleasant, because they'll come up to us, but like from there through to Belmar, like, and then of course Asbury goes off as well.
Asbury goes off too.
I don't ever go that far up. Like, I'm at Belmar, and
it's a good spot for the winter. Like Porta, like shout out Porta, all the people over there.
DQ,
DQ,
absolutely.
And I mean, there's a lot of spots in Jersey, man. You know, and then you got AC, you got Hoboken, Jersey City. You know, there's a lot of different places to go out in New Jersey.
So this is something that I actually had a tough time with as everything opened back up. So, you know, what you're talking about, we've been through it. I've experienced the real nightlife, which Jersey's nightlife is amazing. When we're talking about the spots we're talking about.
It just sucks that it closes at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
3, 4, 5, 8, 6 a.m. Come on, you know? People would say that at Reds all the time. It'd be firing at like 1:50, and they're like, Red, we're going till 3, we're going till 4. I'm like, I wish. Yeah. But guess what? The ABC's going to drive by in 2 minutes with the lights on, and look who's in here. So we got to get you out.
Right.
But like, experience real nightlife and then turning Reds into a real nightlife place at a college town. So for a while, it was cool because it was a mix of so many people because nobody had anywhere to go.
Right.
So it really created that vibe, and it was real nightlife. And then when everything opened back up, it kind of turned into more back into the college nightlife, which is not the same. The music is not the same. The vibe is not the same.
Right.
It's totally different.
Right.
So the transition from going from real nightlife into that college nightlife was a little tough for me because I really enjoyed like true hospitality and nightlife.
Right.
And so going to that, like just even from a DJ's perspective, like the music, I always talk about this to joke around. Like they're coming up and they're requesting Taylor Swift and Pop Smoke and things they can sing along to and that everybody can vibe to. Whereas I'm like, dude, just bump house the whole night and let the speakers go. Like, let's go, you know? But you gotta
please the crowd.
You do.
You know what I mean?
It's different for the college. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced that, maybe being at a place where you have to kind of read the crowd.
I mean, yeah, I used to play a lot of college bars, you know, like coming up, like when I was 21, I would say 21 to like 25, 26. I was playing like mostly college bars, mostly college nightclubs, frat parties, sorority parties. Like I did all that, you know, that's what I used to do. So I remember playing a lot of stuff that I didn't even like, but I knew went off.
Yep.
You know, now I have the pleasure of being able to kind of, you know, play what I choose. You know, people kind of come out to see me more now, you know, where back then they were going to that party anyways. So it didn't matter.
Yeah.
You know,
It's two different like there's
yeah.
like producing almost, and then there is DJing, and it's like, you know, reading the crowd versus playing a song that you actually created or that you vibe with.
Right.
It's like two different things, and it is cool because I got to learn the difference. But I'm used to just going out again, going back to the Jersey nightlife in the summer. It's like, dude, everywhere is just firing. Like it's just firing at all times.
The one thing, honestly, that I just can't stand is like the same like 5 songs over and over again. Like, listen, like Calling is like maybe the best song like ever in this state. You know what I mean? Like
it will never be topped.
Yeah, you got Calling, Levels, Reload, like all these just bangers. But some of these places, man, I'm sorry, they just play the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
And like I'm just over it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are over it. A lot of people are over the same DJs playing the same things over and over again. You know, and I've heard that a lot of times that, you know, there's DJs out there, you know, that are playing the same sets every single night.
Yep.
You know, and that's someone that I never wanted to be. I'm going to play something different every single time you come see me.
Yep.
You know, I'm always digging for new tracks. I'm digging for old tracks too. You know,
have you been so recently? I know you talk about like, you know, you have the social media thing going on and all that. Have you been focused on like producing any new music of your own as of late?
So that's something that I feel like is holding me back. If I'm going to be completely honest with everyone, with you and everyone, you know, I've played with a lot of these artists before, and I actually released a record in 2019, and on a record pool site, it was the #1 most downloaded original for the month. It did great. And then kind of just, you know, been in lingo with being busy with my business, and, you know, I do a lot of different things, and sometimes I forget to find time to sit down and produce. You know, I have Ableton, I have all these programs, I have everything, you know, and I've even gotten close to finishing songs. But, you know, I need to just kind of, you know, get in there and finish it. But that is the one thing that I think is holding me back from, you know, maybe not being the opener for these guys, but maybe being, you know, the headliner. And I know that that's what's, you know, made these guys different in the scene is, you know, releasing their own music. So, you know, I would say that, you know, when it comes to producing that.
Are you looking to kind of transition? Because you said you have multiple businesses. That's obviously going to take a lot of time.
Right.
Is that something where you want to kind of, or are you in a position where you could even kind of delegate what's going on to where you can get to producing? Because I remember with Reds even, it was tough for me to just delegate certain jobs, specifically at a bar like that where it's a college nightlife and it was as busy as it was.
Right.
Like, I had to be there.
Right.
Like you talk about doing the podcast. This is something I would love to. Now I can do full time, but that's because it's not open. But when we were open, dude, I would release 1 a month or whatever, and we'd have 10 episodes already done.
Right.
But, you know, it takes time to edit and do all that. And if you can't do everything yourself, you got to delegate and figure out. But a lot of times you have to.
Right. It's not that I don't have the time. Everyone has time. If you want something bad enough, find the time.
100%.
And it'll happen. And if you don't, it won't. You know, and, you know, I'm someone that's understanding of that, you know, and I have tracks that are 75% done. You know, I've worked with tracks, you know, worked on tracks rather, with people, and, you know, it just never got done, never went anywhere. You know, that's something this year that I kind of want to get done is start releasing music, you know, because content is easy. You know, me and my boys, we get together and you know, we release content.
And it's great content.
Unbelievable. It's funny. We all have something going on, you know, like I'm wearing right now, you know, I'm wearing on my head offset canvas. This is one of my best friend Parker's business. You know, he creates custom wall art, you know, and, you know, dope hat, you know, and then I have the Happiness Review, which is Luke's movement that he started, which is an amazing movement. You know, he calls himself the Amazon of mental health, you know, because a lot of people don't know where to go, you know, and mental health is such a big topic nowadays, you know, and, you know, I'm glad that he started this because it even impacted my life, you know, as someone who's dealt with anxiety, depression my whole life, doubt, you know, it kind of helped me come up with methods, you know, so, you know, Happiness Review, check it out on Instagram. But yeah, I mean, me and my friends, you know, we all have things going on, man, you know, and that's the thing, you know, and we're all pushing each other. So, you know, and I know that you and your boys are kind of the same way.
It's great when you have a group of people that are all
support system,
and like I call it like the dream chasing energy, like to be around people that are not going after something or pushing something that really doesn't have too much meaning. I actually have a video that I'm going to post soon on my Instagram that is already on the Reds Instagram. I kind of reformatted it to fit that TikTok reel,
Right.
or TikTok and then Instagram reel form. But it's a video of like the homecoming night that we had in 2021, which was the fall after all those kids that I became super close with graduated. And there literally is not one person in that video when you watch it that doesn't have like a meaning or doesn't have any,
Value.
Like they all mean something to me.
Right.
And where I go from here is like, if I don't create something that is the same meaning or has the same meaning as that, like when you watch that video, if what I'm creating next does not have as much meaning as Reds had to me, then I don't want to do it.
Right.
Because it's not about, the money means nothing to me. Like I've seen months where we've cleared 6 figures. I've seen months we've lost $6,000. It's like
Right.
it all evens out, and it's a grind. But to me, it's like the meaning behind everything is so important. And when you have people, and I know the way I see you guys doing it and like the way you talk about it,
bro.
it's like, it's especially the mental health thing, man. Dude, that is something that people just need. Like going through mental, like trying to fight things that are going through in your mind and stuff like that. It's so important.
Yeah.
And when you experience that, like yourself, or you experience it with someone else that that you care about, man,
Right.
like, I mean, there's something so meaningful about that. And that's the energy that I want to be around. I want to be around
Right.
people that are doing things like that.
Right. And, everyone knows someone who's going through something.
Yeah.
And, whether it's you or someone else. So that's why I think it's such a strong movement to get behind, positive vibes. And it's okay to be upset and sad and cry, even as a man.
Yeah.
This is a huge topic right now, like men not being masculine enough and, not being able to show emotion. Like fuck it. Like I'll show emotion. I don't give a shit. That makes me more of a man.
Yeah.
To show my emotion because I'm human. And, even, famous people, everyone's human at the end of the day, man.
Yeah, and I think it's something that's kind of changing now, and it's cool that you're creating something like that because I think people need a place to go, and like I think they need to see that it's okay, and it's okay to just take a breather from everything and kind of get help or at least talk to somebody,
Right.
Because that's huge, and I talk about Hawaii and stuff like that, and we went out there, and my friend Terrence, he's an amazing inspiration to me. And, he had some things going on in his life, and being out there firsthand and like just living with him and getting to experience it and just being with somebody who I'd never experienced something like that before. And then we kind of helped each other out, and it's crazy to see, but it's such a meaningful thing. And
Right.
again, any project you're doing, like that's the kind of energy that you want to be around.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. It's
Absolutely,
amazing.
bro.
So where are you going from here at this current moment? I know you said you want to produce some more music.
Right.
These businesses that you have going, are you looking to also kind of build on those and continue to grow?
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're set up shop, here in Freehold, New Jersey with Royal Entertainment. We're in the office of Royal Entertainment and PJR Designs right now.
Yeah.
Royal is a DJ company. We do weddings, we do corporate events, Sweet 16s, bar and bat mitzvahs, all that stuff. We're a full service company. We're rocking and rolling with that. We do over 250 events a year. This is someone I met in a college class who was doing the same thing as I was doing. And we just decided to team up together. And it's crazy how much we've grown throughout the year. So we're going to keep, rolling with that, and, PJR Designs, that's my buddy Parker, who has the offset canvas. It gets kind of confusing once I start, getting into all this stuff.
Yeah,
But we're managing a lot of social media accounts for high level businesses across the board on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You name it, we do it. We'll come in there, shoot your content, do all that stuff. And these are my day-to-day things.
Yeah.
And this is why I haven't been able to find a lot of time, for producing.
Well, these things take time. And even I actually wanted to ask you about this. So the whole social media marketing and stuff like that, I mean, we're seeing a crazy shift in social media. I mean, with this whole
we were just
TikTok
talking about
thing.
it.
I mean, we were talking about it before the pod. But like, what have you noticed, or what are things like that
Dude,
you've seen like over the last couple months, year? Like, isn't it crazy?
It's honestly frustrating. Like, I know a lot of people out there are trying to get views, and one thing that was working last week isn't going to work this week. Instagram is and TikTok and all these platforms, they're trying different things out weekly. If you read anything about it or listen to any podcast of people who are knowledgeable, they're changing things weekly, man. My first Instagram reel that like popped off got like 50,000 views, and I was like, yes, like this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like, I was like, let's fucking go. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then the next one did like 9,000, and I was like, what did I do wrong? Because like the next one was, you know, I thought even more fire than that one.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I had to tell anyone out there, make your content shorter. Don't make it a minute long. Don't make it 30 seconds long. Make it 10, 15 seconds long, because nobody, you know, has time these days. You know, TikTok has made us all, you know, not have time.
It's unbelievable how much it changed the game. Like even scrolling through Instagram now, it's just scrolling up, like just like you do on TikTok. And if it doesn't, you just keep going. And it's crazy. I said this when I was talking to Tobias, because he's into videography, and he's I think, you know, he basically makes his living on doing a lot of that social media stuff. Right. But he was talking about the frustrations as well with TikTok and all that. There's pros and cons, but I do not like how it has shortened everybody's attention span and almost put everything all over the map. Like, you don't really know what's actually going to resonate with people. Right. And then there's people like, I hacked the algorithm and this and that. I call bullshit. I mean, if you you don't know exactly what's going to resonate with people. I'm sure when you do hit, then you know, okay, well, that hit with people. Let's do something similar. That's what I do like about it, is because when you do get something that works, you could kind of go off that and be like, okay, that worked. Let's try something similar. And kind of piggyback off that. Right.
And I'm at the point where I don't even give a shit about the likes or the views or anything like that. Yep. I care, like, if it resonates with people. Yep. If it resonates with you and I get less likes and less views, awesome. Then the content is good, you know? But I'm not, you know, out there to do a million. I mean, listen, if I get 1 million views, I'm going to be happy.
We're taking that.
I'm going to be happy as shit. Don't get me wrong, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm more along the lines of resonating with people. Like, did you enjoy it? You know, stuff like that, because I'm trying to create a variety of content. I don't want it to be just about me DJing, because that doesn't define who I am. They say it about athletes. I know you're a big sports guy. Yep. You know, and they say about athletes, like, being a football player or a baseball player doesn't define you. Being a DJ doesn't define me. Like, I have so much more that goes on in my life than just music, you know, but being a DJ is what people know me for. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my goal this year is to get a lot of variety content out there like this, like the podcast. You know, I think it's good for people to see, if you're someone like me who wants to post, you know, all sides of me, you know, that I'm willing to share, obviously.
I think exactly. You know? I think when people get to know who you are, it's even better. It's more advantageous for building whatever you're trying to build, because it's going to knock off the people that see that and they're like, okay, well, that's not really for me. But the people that are into it and they learn about who you are, it connects you way closer with them. Right. And you were just talking about when you were saying, like, we saw your Instagram and, like, that energy you were putting out and all your Reddisms and stuff.
Electric.
Like, absolutely electric. Juice to the fucking gills, dog. And we were laughing because, like, people will we
wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for, like, me DMing you or whatever. Like, I was like, bro, I didn't want to sound like I was fangirling you. You know what I mean?
No, well, of course not. Of course. I mean, I
was like, yo, I love what you're
so,
doing. Yeah. We need to do something together. Yeah. I'm that kind of a person. When I see it, you know, and Luke was saying before, like, you have it, you know, when you see it, like, you got to pounce on it. You know what I mean? You got to do it, man. You know what I mean? If there's one thing I learned in life, like, you have to do what you want to do. You have to set out to do what you want to do. Yeah. You have to, because, you know, life moves fast. Like, I can't even believe I'm turning 30, like, next week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then I think about it, like, another 30 years, I'm 60. And then, you know what I mean? Like, almost my entire life is...
Dude, I think about that sometimes. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I'm 30.
So, you're not a normal person if you don't think about that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm so happy that I've done a lot of things that I've wanted to do in my life. And I can check those off the list. And now it's like, on to the next. You know what I mean? So it's like, you shouldn't even be bummed about, you know, Red's closing down, because it's like, now it's the podcast. And then once you do that, it's what's after that. You know what I mean? Because that's where my brain is these days. It's like, what's next?
Yeah. You know? Yeah, it is. It's crazy to think about, because lately I have been thinking about that specific concept a lot, because Red's just closing. I'm like, damn, like, we built something so special. And then, you know, unfortunately, because of what happened a couple years ago, you know, we weren't able to make it. But now I look at what I've got, and I always try to bring myself to the thought of all the connections I made over the past just 4 years. Because I've got friends that I've had forever that, again, I've stayed close with forever. And it's like, all the opportunities it opened just through the last couple of years, like, now I get a chance to really use that network and use those opportunities to go with this. And this is what I want to do.
Right. You know, you have a huge, let's call it a book of business, or, you know, that you don't even like really know about. I mean, you know about it, but like now that you're doing the podcast, you're doing all these things, it's like you can really do and take this wherever you want.
Yeah.
It's what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is the best thing. When you're in control of it, it's the best feeling. You know what I mean? You know, we're not 9 to 5 guys. You know, you and I, like, we're just, I used to do it. I don't know about you.
Yes.
I
Also.
put a suit and tie on every day. You know, I worked in a bank, in a mortgage bank, you know, and I hated it.
Oh, yeah.
I hated it. I still, listen, God bless anyone that does it every day. But, like, I think about it all the time. Like, how the fuck do you wake up every day, put on a suit and tie, get your ass somewhere, literally sit in front of a laptop or a screen, whatever it is, and that is your life.
Yeah.
You're living to work.
It's actually unbelievable. I mean,
or,
so, you know, a lot of people
to live.
I know. Yeah. It's when I worked, it was cool because I've always brought the energy that I have to whatever I'm doing.
Right.
So as I did that, you know, it was cool to see how everybody's energy also kind of shifted and it kind of lightened up. But there's also so many people that are doing that are bringing an energy where it's like it's almost a mentality of, okay, it's over, like accepting what is, and they're just going to keep going.
I think
and
it's
I don't
so
want to be
sad.
around
I'm not insulting any of these people. I just I think it's so sad. I really do. You know,
because you think about, there are people that, like, you know, that have been trying to land a job that they could work and support their family for years, and they get it, and they're literally living their dream. Like, they're supporting their family, they're sending their kids to a school that they've always, you know, they wouldn't be able to afford if they weren't doing that. So it's not to knock it, but it's just a matter of whether or not that is what you want to do or not. Because when I was there, it was, you know, there's so many good people that I work with, and I still stay in touch with them to this day, and they laugh at all my stuff I got going on in my Reddits and everything.
Right.
And it's cool that connection kind of, you know, kept us together all this time.
Right.
But like being around a lot of the energy that the people that I didn't stay close with, you're surrounded by it, and it was just something that I didn't want to be surrounded by every day.
Right. No, I can, you know, I can definitely see that. You know, it's just, I can't see myself ever going back to that place. No. Can you?
Nope.
You know, I don't know. There's a lot more entrepreneurs nowadays, you know, and I would consider myself and consider you an entrepreneur. And like I said, it's just great to be in control of your destiny and your fate. And it's all on you. It's literally put up or shut up. It's what are you going to do to make it happen? You know, because, you know, I don't have anyone paying my bills. I don't, you know, it's not guaranteed. It's literally not guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing right now. I mean, I'm helping out. I'm helping out at Reds Newark and stuff. But like, you think about it, my business just closed. Like, you know, but you know, obviously I have, you know, some saved up and stuff. I didn't spend it all at the bars at DJs in Miami and everything. I got some saved up, but you know, I have enough to really like go after what I want to go after right now. And not everybody always has that opportunity. So like the way I'm thinking about it is like, I have the chance right now to do this. It's like I'm doing it.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
And I love that. And once it does work out, it's going to be the best feeling in the world. You're going to have that high. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
That, you know, like, I did this.
Yeah.
I fucking made this happen.
Yeah.
And let's fucking go.
Probably similar to what you felt when you walked out that first time and saw that crowd.
Bro, when I headlined that first time, man, it was crazy. You know, I had the jitters. I was so nervous. You know what I mean? And then I kind of had this moment where I thought to myself, like, you know, I've worked so hard for this. Like, you know, there's a reason why I'm here. This didn't happen by mistake. You know what I mean? And I had that moment, and then everything went away, and we crushed it. And it was a night that a lot of people, you know, will never forget. You know, so
you never forget a night like that, especially when it's something where you've been working for so long. And I actually have talked about this too, is like the video I just mentioned to everybody here about when I'm going to post it, and I already have posted it. It was cool that Corey came and shot that, because Corey and I have been filming for a very long time. We've been friends for a very long time, since high school, even before that, through the mutual connection of Terrence. And like looking back on that night, it was almost like it brings me back to that feeling of all that shit I had to eat for so long, when none of it could work out and you can't see the results. And like, even like you talking about during the pandemic, literally just seeing negative the entire time. There was no positive. Like, it was just like every month was like negative. There was no green. It was all red. Good color though. And and then it all comes to fruition. And I look back on the video, and it's like, you can not just have, like, even if I didn't have the video, remembering back to that night and like nights that were similar to that, you get that feeling. And it's like, damn, it really did work out.
And sometimes you need those bad things to happen to you to remember to never go back to that place.
Yes.
Like, I didn't even mention before, we were getting heavy into the pandemic. I'll just quickly get into it. My life was completely thrown away. So I thought to myself, I need to stay busy. So I became a UPS driver. Not many people know this about me.
Really?
Yeah, not many people know this about my close friends. It's not something I promoted, but I needed to make money, and there was no light at the end of the tunnel. I was doing nothing. Unemployment was not paying me what I needed because I was getting paid a lot in cash. So I fucking went and got my license to be a UPS driver. They were paying the most at the time.
They were firing during the pandemic because one of my best friends, Jake Armando, shout out to Mondo, he is a UPS driver. They were firing during the pandemic.
Yeah, bro, I have never been so tired in my entire life. Every time I see a UPS driver, Amazon, FedEx, DHL, I literally go over to them and I say, I used to do this. Thank you, because I know how hard it is. Literally, I was so shot, but it just goes to show you, it's not what I wanted to do, but I went and I did it anyways.
Yep.
Because that's what I fucking had to do.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And sometimes you just have to do it. You have to, and, I remember those bad times, those triumphant times. And, when I'm feeling down now, I go back to those moments of being lost and being like, why the fuck am I doing this? I'm a DJ. I'm not a UPS driver.
Dude,
you know what I mean? Like,
that thought, it's crazy to go back to those thoughts. And it's cool that you're saying this and bringing this point out because I think that there's probably a lot of people, and even it's cool that it goes along with the mental health thing too, is like, I think a lot of people are in a spot maybe right now or were that like, you don't really know why you're in it, and you're asking yourself, why is this happening to me? Why am I here? And then you get to a point where it's over and it worked out, and then you get to a tough time there, and you think back, and you're like, wait a second, remember back when I was doing this and I was in this bad place? It's like I got it much better right now, and I've created a life and doing something that I want to do. Like I can get through whatever I'm going through right now because I went through that in the past.
Yep, and that's exactly what I felt was I felt lost. I felt like I lost my identity of everything that I built up to become. And I was going through some dark times, and when everything ended, it took me a while to get back to who I am now, and I'm just grateful that shit is over, man.
These stories fucking fire me the fuck up.
Yeah,
dude,
man.
Because, dude, I swear, I mean, people, and because I think a lot of people went through that during the pandemic, and even didn't need the pandemic to go through something like that. There's a lot of people that go through that anyway, but the pandemic threw everybody into a rut like that, and I feel like there was a lot of people who were able to capitalize.
It gave people the choice.
Yeah,
it gave people the choice. Are you going to continue living the life you were living? Or are you going to take a chance? And there are a lot of people that literally drop their entire life to go do what they've always wanted to do. And I admire those people. Yeah. You know what I mean? A lot of people went and moved across the country, where they were working remote, and they tried something else. And now they're doing something else with their life. And I think, I know that we've been talking about the pandemic a lot. It's been a big topic. But, it changed the outcome of the world. You know what I mean? It really tested people. It changed everything, man.
Dude, it put people in a position I don't think a lot of them ever wanted to be in. Mm-hmm. And it's cool. It's crazy. Like all these things you're saying, like even when you just said it didn't happen by mistake, like the things you're saying right now are a lot of things that I've been thinking about very recently, just because we did lose Reds. So it was like, everything I worked to build and stuff, I lost it. And again, I know there's a bright future, and I know like as long as I work and do what I want to do, like there's no reason to not be successful.
You can't convince me that you're not going to be successful. Like you can, like I can never like think that like this guy Red, who's has this insane energy and drive, is not going to be successful. It's crazy.
And I think about actually that, like literally just thinking about Reds itself, it's like you think like the business failed, like the business didn't fail. Like the business was actually making money, and the way it was, like we would have been able to just stay there and make money for however long we were. Right. Nothing crazy, but it was profitable. And but at the end of the day, when you think about where everything set you back, so I try to think about that concept as well. I was like, no, we did succeed, and so there's always so much to think about. Like there's a lot more positives than you think. I think it's tough for people to reflect on that when they're in a spot where they're not so up, they're kind of down. So but But man, this shit fires me up when people talk about this kind of stuff.
Fires
Yeah.
me up.
Also, I wanted this kind of leads into you mentioned the gym recently.
Oh yeah.
How long have you been taking it like super serious?
So I've been taking the gym pretty serious for I would say 5 months now.
Okay.
I went through a little thing in my life where I needed something. You know what I mean? And it was the gym. I didn't know that all this time it was the gym. And I always went to the gym. I went to a place by me. It was more of a corporate kind of gym. And I kind of felt like I was just running through the motions. I wasn't really getting a good workout. And then I made the switch, and I feel like everything has changed. I'm going, 4 or 5, 6 times a week now, not making excuses, changing my diet, and it's doing something for yourself every single day. It's very rewarding, and that's a lot of people work out to get big muscles and to look good with their shirts off or whatever, you know what I mean? But, half of it is the rewarding part for me.
Oh, man.
I would say 50-50.
Dude, the mental benefits, too, of going to the gym and pushing yourself and doing something like that every single day.
I feel like $1 million, you know what I mean? I feel like my energy today is because I crushed leg day. You know what I mean? And I was squatting, I was doing everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it gets you going. Dude, there's no better. I mean, when I'm in there and I'm not recommending 500 milligrams of caffeine for anybody, but when I'm in there.
Shout out Bang. I'm gonna cover it up right now, but shout out Bang. Right here.
With Folgers for the Soldiers plus a Bang firing.
Right.
And I got EDM just going off, house music going off.
Right.
I got that Vine Eye remix firing I'm in there, dog.
Right.
I'm in there. And it's just, that feeling is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. And I love the ride home from the gym. You know what I mean? Because the blood is still going.
Oh, yeah.
I'm calling my boys, yo, blah, blah, blah. I have this sick business idea. Whatever's going on. You know what I mean? It really is crazy. The blood is just flowing.
Dude, it fires. It gets your brain
even
firing,
on the way,
dude.
I know you could probably relate with this. Even on the way to the gym, right? You're drinking your pre-workout or your Bang. And, sometimes you literally just want to talk to someone. And, I know Luke calls me on his way to the gym. And, I'll call him or, one of my other boys. And, just get fired up.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
When it starts going and you're like, dude, I got to talk to somebody. I have something going. My guy Will, what you were saying before, that's the same thing. He'll hit me up. He's actually been going twice a day right now. He's crazy.
That's
going
crazy.
Day and he's going morning and night.
I can't do that, man. I don't know.
Dude, he's 2-a-days. He's going to Tulum in February, so he's calling it Tulum season, Yeah, you got to get ready. But I'm bulking right now. I'm putting up numbers.
You got to get ready for Tulum season. Dude, you know what they say about Tulum season.
And he's crushing it. But, dude, it really is the gym. I think for me has always helped me find balance. And even when we were going through all that stuff with, the pandemic and everything, it was a lot of people's outlet of the gym was taken away. And then when it came back, I think it showed everybody that how good it is for you.
You know what's crazy? And I'll go back and say, the gym that I go to now is really crazy with influencers and people shooting content. And I was such an anti fit fam person, if you will. And, I've totally looked past that now. Is it a little much to be recording yourself every second you're at the gym? Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Listen, it's not a yes or a no. It's not a yes or a no. I'll leave that up to the listeners to decide. But, as long as you could shut it off, because when you go to the gym, you're there for you. You're not there for other people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yep. And, I think a lot of people now, especially in the social media age, they're doing things for other people. I think you need to remember to always do it for you. You know
that's
what I mean?
That's a huge point, especially from somebody who does you do the social media thing, and for other putting out energy that is truly you and putting out content that is actually true to you is the way to go. You can't just follow because it's really not sustainable. Think about trying to put out content, consistently that isn't you. Over time,
a lot of people, I know we're trying to stay positive, but the reality of the fact is a lot of people are, use social media outlets to portray someone that they're not.
Yeah.
And I know that we all know a lot of people that are like that. And something that I want to do is always be me.
Yeah.
And show people the real me. This is actually me. What you see on there, is actually who I am. Me and my friends, cracking jokes, being stupid or, partying and traveling and, this is who we are. This is what we do.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. And people feel that, though. Like when people watch it,
yeah,
like that's actually who he is. Like you could see it and you could feel it through the content.
Right.
It's tough to fake who you are and get away with it. So I mean, eventually it all comes out.
You can use filters and there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of
come on.
There's a lot of ways, you know. These filters are crazy.
The best content is people just being who they are, and you can tell. Like when people are just loose and having fun and There's nothing. There's nothing better than that. It's unbelievable. I mean, and just look. I mean, looking at this room, like all the content we got going on, it's unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, how are you gonna fake who you are for that long with all this stuff? I mean, eventually along the way, it's gonna come out. Like, so you're better off just. I mean,
Frank can always edit it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable editor.
He can give us like 6-pack sitting here or something like that. You know, but
listen, you give us 2 months, we'll have the 6-packs ourselves.
Yeah, we haven't even worked out. The oven ain't even hot yet.
The oven ain't even hot yet. Listen, that's the greatest video on the internet. I promise you. It's so funny when I said that. Luke was like, "Oh, it's up there." I was like, "Let's go." Funny story about that video that we bring that. So there's a key saying. First of all, this was a true story. I have a video on my Instagram. It is to me the greatest video on the internet where I'm talking about crushing a back workout. And this actually happened in the workout. I was in there for like 2 hours and just rolling retro. And some kid goes, "You still cooking?" I looked him dead in the eye and I said, "The oven ain't even hot yet, brother." And so I go
Have
out
you ever
to
heard that in your life?
Never in my life.
It just came out of your mouth?
That was just the Jersey wit, that Jersey mind just coming at the greatest state in the union, just right out. Because, we got the fast reactions. We got the one-liners on deck.
You got to be fast.
When you're from Jersey, you're efficient. People just bang, bang, bang. You can't slow down. You can't, get shit done. Right. And when people got something and I got the reaction, I got the one-liner, it's just on call. So he asked me, "You still cooking?" I said, "Brother, the oven ain't even hot yet." So then I go out to my video. I'm all fired up. I put on Rattle by the Bingo Players, an absolute banger. Yeah. And I just filmed this video and I put that out. And, dude, the amount of people I saw that summer, like, just getting hype and, like, they would see me and they'd walk in and they'd be like, "The oven ain't even hot yet."
And they'd
be screaming. But this is where Reds all started, funny enough. One random Monday night, during that year when we first opened, back after we were closed for 6 months because they shut everything down, 6 guys come in. Sam Johnson was one of them. Benji was one of them. Brant was one of them. There was a few other guys as well. And so I think it was Tomasco, Pete, and Jake as well. Shout out to all of them, the 93 boys.
We're just name dropping over here.
We're just locked in. We're
just name dropping over here.
Me, those guys are family to me, man. Those guys. Yeah. So it was those 6, and we're just watching football. I put the full send on. It was just us. Like, nobody else was in Reds. There wasn't many people going out around that time. And so we just get to talking. I'm just being the normal person I am, and we're having a good time. We're vibing. Their energy's great. My energy's great. And we have a great time. And then I go, "Listen, boys," they were like, "Yo, what's your Instagram, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "This video right here." And I pointed to it. I said, "You all go home. You watch this video back at the house. You get all your boys, whoever's living there.
Give them a homework assignment.
You put it on the speakers, all right? And you fucking bump this video, and I promise you, you will be glad you did it." They come in the next day. 25, 30 of them. Every single one hitting the bar going, Red, the oven ain't even hot yet. And that sparked the entire, like Benji and those guys, Sam, like who they brought after that, sparked the entire rising of Reds. Like no shit.
Isn't it crazy?
It's unbelievable.
How things that you say and do, like all of a sudden people start doing them and you're like, holy shit, like I didn't know I had that power.
It's
like,
unbelievable.
Our group, how many sayings have we had over the years? Like I couldn't tell you how many sayings and stupid little things, you know what I mean? Like,
and you just ride with it. It's like,
and then all of a sudden other people are saying it, like, I don't know if we started this, but remember when people were like, "I'm a big Reds guy." Or, or I just use that as an example. Like, we were saying that shit in like 2016, man. Like, and all of a sudden people are like, "Yo, I'm a big Red Bull vodka guy. I'm a big," you know what I mean? Yeah. And we're like, holy shit. Like, not for nothing, like
that's us.
Like, that's us right there. I want to fucking trademark that shit. You know what I mean? But like, it's things like that, man. That like, we have influence. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, and it's like it's the energy thing too. It's like people who attract that energy, and then again, the whole uprising of Reds like happened from that one interaction on a Monday night.
I see you being like the next like Barstool or something like that. I could see you coming out with merch and like
There's a lot of people. Shit. There's a lot of my videos sitting in Barstool Sports DMs right now because my friends hit me up and they're like, "Yo, we sent that video to Barstool."
You got to keep if you like keep it up. There's no doubt in my mind, bro.
I love doing those videos. It's like it's just the real energy, and it's crazy because we were talking about it before. You'll put one out there like, "Yo, this one's gonna hit," and then nobody views it, and then you put another one out like that one with Goggins, almost 1 million views. It's
crazy,
but
bro.
You just got it's all about being you, and that is my energy. So it's cool. It was cool to actually see that turn into something like you take it from an internet video and just a saying that I have in my energy, and it kind of started the whole thing with Reds and like built it to what it was, which was unbelievable. And it's a crazy concept to think about, that something just like that. I guess it's the whole thing with the virality too now. Like people go from having almost no followers to 100,000 overnight if they have a viral video.
I can spot fake followers from a million fucking miles away.
A million miles away.
You ever see someone with 100,000 followers and then you go to their post and they have 27 likes?
Oh yeah. Oh,
you know who you are.
We know who you are. You know who you are, and we know.
Yeah, you're not fooling anybody.
No,
you're not fooling anybody.
No.
You know, I never bought followers. I never bought likes.
Yeah.
I'd rather have people that are there for it, want to be there for it, and not put on a facade.
Nope.
Like
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Again, I was kind of talking about this before, but it's like it's almost like the relationships to me have, and this is why I think I've been able to personally, I can only speak from my experiences, like stay in touch and become as close with my friends over time, and stay as close of friends as we were before, like picking up the phone and just talking to them for an hour and catching up. And it's like the amount of people I've been able to do that with, it's because it's all genuine, you know, you can't fake that. And it's like the relationship to me was always worth more than anything I could get out of it.
Right.
The relationship with that person has always meant more to me. It's like I would much rather, like it's you hear about all these like businesses that people start with their friends and they have a falling out, and it's because the business went south and things like that.
It's like, not easy starting a business with your friends.
It's not. But like if you have somebody that it truly values the relationship of what you guys have together over anything else that you could have, that's when it's going to work out.
Right.
You know?
Right, yeah. Business and friends, they say don't mix money with friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's tough.
Luckily, I've been fortunate to work with friends, you know, and we've been able to monetize certain things and not have issues in the past. But, you know, you got to watch out sometimes. You know, you never know. There's snakes in the grass.
There's snakes in the grass. People you thought might have been your friends. It is tough, but like it's cool when it does work out and you know, like, yeah, this was for real.
Right. But it's so dope, man, working with your friends. I can't even stress it enough. Like, you know, when you're doing cool shit with your friends, like I have a brunch coming up that we're throwing right here in Freehold at the American Hotel, Martin Luther King weekend. Me and my buddy Parker are throwing it. You know, it's just so fucking cool that we're getting together, you know, and combining our minds and worlds and doing something like that. You know, it's very rewarding.
Yeah, and it's special too. It's like I remember, like even talking about Cisneros, our guy, like he was part of that whole year before we were even allowed to have DJs. Right. Like, he was a good friend of mine. Brant was a good friend of mine. Like, Lujan, even Nick Lujan, shout out to him. He was a good friend of mine. Before they all started DJing here, you know, I knew them as people. And I also knew how good they were, you know, as a DJ, like Cisneros and Brant specifically, because I got to hear their style of music that whole year before they could even play. Like they were showing me things. And then like they would play songs on the Spotify playlist for Reds, and I could kind of see how our vibe matched up. But it's cool when you can actually make it happen with your friends and they're the ones like building with you. Like those guys helped build the business so much over that next year when like we were full capacity. Right. Like having them come in and like bringing their squads and everybody was coming in. It was like we were all friends. Right. And that is something that's really special. Yeah. Especially because those people are so close to you, like enjoying success with those people. Right. That's priceless. Right.
I love that.
Priceless.
I love that, bro.
Man, what a conversation this was, dog. This was, and I knew, I literally on the way here to Quiet.
We're sweating. I see you got a little sweat going. I got a little sweat going too. I can't even.
When you
can't even lie, man.
I mean, I get fired up, dude.
Juice stop, man. That's what we do.
Hills, dog. We got the bangs on. I mean, they'll get you a little hot, those bangs. That's for sure. You know, but man, this was an unbelievable conversation. What a way to start off the first podcast 2023. And thank you guys for allowing us to come here and be here and shoot it here. Like I said, we're going to take the show on the road. It's something I've wanted to do. And this room, this creative space is awesome. Like, you know, couldn't have worked out better. I'm glad. Of course, I've never been on time in my life, what I was saying before. So here we started, 8:30? We were supposed to start at 7. But hey, I mean, the conversation, this episode, it's something that's timeless. That's what I really like about it. So, you know, it was awesome to hear your story and bounce those ideas off each other.
Likewise, and thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that lift. That's happening soon. Yeah. We're getting in there heavy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be amazing.
Absolutely, bro.
Cool. All right, I think we're out, baby. That was awesome. Let's go.